Some breaking news for you. Former President Trump releasing a statement today. So much USA money has been given away to the club, NATO, as President Macron of France likes to call it, and to NATO, despite the fact that those countries have taken economic advantage of the United States for many years until I came along. Not fair to America or the American taxpayer. We were just talking a little bit about the dynamics of working with NATO, Allison, just a few moments ago. Now, let's move on to, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, moving on. Ilhan Omar's words are still ringing on Capitol Hill, especially among House Republicans who have had enough. National correspondent Logan Ratick joins us on Capitol Hill with details. Logan.
That's right. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is considering a resolution to remove Ilhan Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee that could be debated this week. But three of his Republican colleagues are already taking action. Representatives Michael Waltz, Jim Banks, and Claudia Tenney are introducing a censure resolution condemning Congresswoman Omar and the so-called squad, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley, for defending, quote, foreign terrorist organizations and inciting anti-Semitic attacks across the U.S. And now House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is getting criticized by Republicans and even some Democrats for being too easy on Omar.
We did not rebuke her. We acknowledged that she made a clarification. Congresswoman Omar is a valued member of our caucus. She asked her questions of the Secretary of State. What I'm saying is end of subject. She clarified. We thanked her. End of subject. What happened is a reflection of the respect we have for our member, and when she made her questions at the hearing.
But it's far from over for Congressman Josh Gottheimer, one of 12 Jewish House Democrats, to call out Omar last week.
That false equivalency is, it's unacceptable, to say the least. It undermines our national security, and it leads to more anti-Semitism. So I think she should probably be calling all of us.
But so far, she hasn't. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney, who's introducing the censure resolution, tells Newsmax Speaker Pelosi's unable to deal with the squad's inflammatory remarks. And her fellow New York Republican, Nicole Malliotakis, just wants Omar out of Congress.
To come to this country as a refugee and then ascend to the United States House of Representatives to question America's humanity, to question how truly special this nation is wrong. She should not be a member of the House of Representatives.
Now, Tenney and other Republicans on the House Foreign Affairs Committee tell me they don't want to remove Omar just yet because of the potential political fallout. But Tenney says she's deeply concerned about Omar having access to classified information. Now, if McCarthy and Republicans choose to move forward with a resolution to remove Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, they could have some help from the other side because 5 members of that committee were part of the 12 Democrats to condemn Omar last week. Bob, Allison, back to you.
Logan, thank you. Joining us now to elaborate on the story, Democratic strategist Kelly Hyman and former Louisiana Congressman John Fleming. John, is Ilhan Omar a little problem or a big problem?
Well, thanks, Bob. She is a big problem and has been since she was elected. She's clearly an anti-Semite, and she is drawing the Democrat Party away from its support for Israel and towards anti-Semitic comments, positions politically. And this really sets a very bad standard going forward. And she should be removed from these committees. Remember that Representative Marjorie Greene was voted out of all of her committee positions, and 11 Republicans supported that. And yet you see Nancy Pelosi still backstopping Omar, even in spite of everything she's doing that's anti-Semitic.
Kelly, do you think that she is a security risk? Should she be removed from the committee?
I think ultimately, first and foremost, it's up to the people, her constituents in her district, whether they approve of her or not, to get out and vote and let their voice be heard and decide whether they want her, because she represents the people of her great state. And so I think it's important for them to do that as well. But as someone that is a Democrat, I think ultimately it would be up to Congress. And if they make a determination that she feels that they should be off the committee, then ultimately it's their decision. And if the voters are not happy with that either way, then they can vote in the upcoming election accordingly based on what they feel if she's representing her constituents.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had this to say about the controversy regarding Omar. Drawing false equivalencies between democracies and like the U.S. and Israel, and groups that engage in terrorism like Hamas and the Taliban foments prejudice and undermines progress towards a future of peace and security for all. John, what do you think?
Well, I just think Pelosi is papering over these comments. Look, Omar's been making these comments since she came into office 2 or 3 years ago. She continues to do them. She will continue out in the future. I don't know how much the Democratic Party can tolerate of this. And once again, it's very hypocritical to again give her support, which Pelosi in essence did at the end of the day, said she supported her, I guess on a free speech basis or something.
Right.
And remember, yes, her district probably does support her and won't vote her out, despite the fact she's anti-Semitic, but that's the nature of her district. But she's also representing the American people, and we're solidly backers of Israel.
All right. Sorry we're out of time at this point. Kelly Hyman, John Fleming, thank you so much. Coming up, we'll have more of American Agenda after the break.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.